My name is James Martinez, and this is the story of how my stepfamily's avarice led to their ultimate downfall. They believed they were acquiring a failing restaurant, Casa Martinez, but they were completely oblivious to what they were truly purchasing, or rather, what they weren't. For 30 years, my father's restaurant, Casa Martinez, had been the heart of downtown Chicago. It wasn't merely a business, it was our family's legacy, painstakingly built upon my grandmother's cherished recipes brought from Mexico and my father's unwavering dreams when he immigrated here with nothing but hope. I spent my childhood in that kitchen, absorbing every recipe, every secret, every nuanced detail that made our food exceptional. The aroma of roasting chilies and fresh tortillas was the constant soundtrack of my younger years. Everything shifted when my mother passed away, and 2 years later, my father married Diana. She arrived with 2 sons from her previous marriage, Marcus and Alex. From the outset, they viewed Casa Martinez not as a treasured family legacy, but as a goldmine ripe for exploitation. They saw our loyal clientele, our prime location, our hard-earned reputation, and they coveted it all. Initially, they feigned kindness. Diana would ostensibly help at the restaurant, familiarizing herself with the operations, while her sons strategically assumed management positions. My father, still consumed by grief and loneliness, was simply content to have a bustling house again. I observed all of this unfold from the kitchen, where I diligently worked as head chef, keeping my mother's culinary traditions alive. "James, honey," Diana would purr, her voice as sweet as syrup, yet her eyes as cold as ice. "Don't you think it's time to modernize these old recipes? They're so traditional. People want fusion cuisine now." But our loyal patrons didn't crave fusion. They came for my grandmother's authentic mole sauce, for the tamales that required 2 days of meticulous preparation, for the time-honored traditions that defined Casa Martinez. Our revenue reflected this. We were thriving more than ever. Then my father fell ill. Cancer. Aggressive and unforgiving. Everything unfolded with devastating speed. Amidst the whirlwind of hospital visits and grueling chemotherapy sessions, Diana and her sons began implementing their insidious changes. They hired new staff, switched suppliers, and systematically excluded me from operational decisions. "Just focus on the cooking, James," Marcus would dismissively say, brushing aside my concerns about their lavish and unnecessary renovations. "Leave the business to those who understand it." I held a business degree from Northwestern and had effectively managed the restaurant for the past 5 years, a fact they conveniently overlooked. One evening, as I was closing up, I inadvertently overheard Diana and her sons conversing in the office. I hadn't intended to eavesdrop, but their words stopped me dead in my tracks. "The lawyer says we can do it," Diana was explaining. "Robert's too ill to properly manage his assets. If we can demonstrate that the restaurant is failing, we can obtain emergency power of attorney and force a sale before he recovers. If he recovers." "But it's not failing," Alex protested. "It's making more money than ever." "That's why we need to help it fail," Marcus retorted with a chilling laugh. "A few health code violations, some strategically placed bad reviews, a couple of convenient kitchen accidents." My stomach churned with nausea. They were plotting to deliberately sabotage my father's life's work. But they had made one critical error. They underestimated the extent of my knowledge and preparation. What they didn't realize was that 6 months prior, when my father first received his diagnosis, he had transferred several key operational aspects of the business to me. Not the building or the restaurant itself. He wanted those to remain in his name until he was gone. But he had entrusted me with something far more valuable: control. I spent the following weeks observing their scheme unfold. Suddenly, we were plagued by health code violations. Mysterious negative reviews materialized online. Equipment began malfunctioning inexplicably. Our reputation was steadily eroding, and I witnessed the mounting stress taking its toll on my father. Diana played her role flawlessly, feigning concern and support while subtly suggesting that selling might be the best course of action. "The stress isn't good for your health, darling," she'd murmur to my father. "Let's just sell it and focus on your recovery." Finally, they made their move. At the hospital, while my father was weakened by chemotherapy, Diana presented her lawyer and the meticulously fabricated documentation. The papers showcased the restaurant's recent fabricated struggles, the mounting debts they themselves had orchestrated, and a seemingly generous proposal. Sell the restaurant to them now for a nominal fee of $1 to keep it in the family. My father, weary and disoriented, looked to me. "James, what do you think?" Diana interjected before I could respond. "James understands this is for the best, don't you, James? You can still be the chef if you prove yourself worthy of the position." I looked at my father, then at Diana's smug face, and nodded slowly. "If that's what you want, Dad." The next day, we assembled at the restaurant for the official handover. Diana had invited their friends, transforming it into a celebration of their supposed rescue of a failing family business. The lawyer presented the documents, and Diana practically vibrated with glee. "Just sign here, James," she instructed, pointing to the signature line at the bottom of the transfer document. "It's only worth $1 now anyway, thanks to your inadequate management." I signed my name with a steady hand, then looked up at their triumphant faces. "Congratulations," I said quietly. "The building and the business are yours." "Finally!" Marcus exclaimed. "Now we can make some real changes around here." I collected my personal belongings from the office, including my mother's cherished recipe box. As I headed for the door, Diana called out, "Don't forget to be here early tomorrow. Just because you're not the owner anymore doesn't mean you can slack off." I turned back, a small smile playing on my lips. "Oh, I won't be coming in tomorrow. Or ever again, actually." "What are you talking about?" "What are you talking about?" Alex demanded, his voice laced with sudden unease. "You see," I explained, a calm satisfaction settling over me. "You've acquired a building and a business name. But 6 months ago, my father transferred something far more valuable to me. I own all the recipes, every single one. They're fully copyrighted and trademarked under my personal holding company, Martinez Culinary Group LLC. I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in as I watched their expressions shift from triumph to dawning horror. I also own the Casa Martinez brand identity, the logo, and most importantly, I emphasized, I personally hold all the supplier contracts and relationships. The color drained from Diana's face. "So, congratulations on your new restaurant," I continued, my voice laced with a touch of irony. "I'm sure you'll do great serving, whatever it is you plan to serve. It just won't be Casa Martinez food. Oh, and those suppliers you've been working with? They'll be delivering to my new location across town starting tomorrow." The silence that followed was deafening. Diana's perfectly manicured hands gripped the edge of the desk, her knuckles turning white. "You can't do this," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Those recipes belong to the restaurant." "Actually," I countered, pulling out another set of documents from my briefcase. "They don't. Everything was legally transferred to Martinez Culinary Group LLC months ago. Dad knew exactly what he was doing. He might be sick, but he's far from stupid." Marcus lunged forward, grabbing my shirt. "You little snake! You planned this all along!" "Careful," I warned calmly, disengaging myself from his grasp. "Assault charges wouldn't look good for your new business. And yes, I planned this, right after I overheard you plotting to deliberately destroy my father's legacy." Their lawyer, Mr. Peterson, was frantically reviewing the sale documents. This is highly unusual," he stammered. "The intellectual property should have been included in the sale." "Check page 37, I suggested. The sale clearly specifies physical assets and business name only. You really should read the fine print more carefully, Mr. Peterson." Diana's face contorted with rage. "We'll sue you." "Sue me for what?" I interrupted. "For legally protecting my family's heritage? For stopping you from dismantling what my father built? Go ahead. Oh, and while you're at it, you might want to explain to the judge how you manipulated a cancer patient into selling his life's work for $1. I turned to leave, but paused at the door. "One more thing. I've submitted all documentation of your deliberate health code violations to the city health department. They're very interested in speaking with the new owners. I'd expect them first thing tomorrow morning." As I walked out of Casa Martinez for the last time, I heard Diana's anguished scream of rage echoing behind me, but I didn't look back. I had work to do. The next 6 months were a whirlwind. While Diana and her sons grappled with health department investigations and desperately attempted to concoct new recipes for their restaurant, I was busy building something new and vibrant. I opened Mama Martinez's kitchen just across town, taking our loyal staff, trusted suppliers, and, most importantly, our cherished recipes with me. The grand opening was overflowing with familiar faces, customers who had been coming to us for decades, who knew the authentic taste of our food couldn't be replicated. Word spread rapidly. Food critics raved about how we preserved the traditional flavors while enhancing the dining experience in a beautiful new location. Our loyal customers followed us, bringing new patrons with them. Within months, we had lines out the door every weekend. Meanwhile, Diana's version of Casa Martinez floundered without our recipes, suppliers, or experienced staff. They couldn't replicate the magic that made the restaurant special. They tried serving generic Mexican food, then attempted fusion cuisine, but nothing worked. The reviews were brutal. "It's like a soul has been ripped out of the place," one reviewer wrote. "The magic is gone." 3 months after their supposed triumph, my father's cancer went into remission. The doctors called it a miracle, but I believed it was pure stubbornness. He wasn't going to let go until he saw justice served. The first day he was strong enough, he came to Mama Martinez's kitchen. He walked through the dining room, tears in his eyes, touching the familiar decorations we'd moved from the old place. The photos of our family, the hand-painted plates my mother had collected, the strings of dried peppers my grandmother had hung for good luck. In the kitchen, he watched as I prepared his favorite dish, chile relleno, just as his mother had taught me. "You did good, mijo," he said softly, his voice thick with emotion. "You protected our legacy better than I ever could." Diana and her sons tried to hold out, but the numbers didn't lie. 6 months after their triumphant takeover, they were forced to sell the building at a massive loss. The final insult? The buyer was my newly formed real estate company. I kept the building but leased the space to a local art gallery. Sometimes I walk by the old location, remembering the sounds and smells that filled it for so many years. The Casa Martinez sign is gone, but the memories remain. Last week, I received a letter from Diana's lawyer offering to reconcile our differences and proposing a partnership. I sent back a simple response. Some things aren't for sale at any price. Mama Martinez's kitchen has now expanded to 3 locations, each one serving the same authentic recipes my grandmother brought from Mexico all those years ago. My father, now fully recovered, comes in every Sunday to have lunch and share stories with the customers about how it all began. As for Diana and her sons, last I heard, they left Chicago, their dreams of an easy takeover shattered. They learned the hard way that a restaurant isn't just a building or a business. It's the heart and soul that goes into every dish, the love passed down through generations, the traditions that bind a family together, and those are things you can't steal. That can't be bought, bartered, or stolen. Just yesterday, a young culinary student inquired why I hadn't simply relinquished the old restaurant and started anew elsewhere. I showed her my mother's weathered recipe box, its pages worn and stained with the evidence of decades of loving use. Because some legacies, I explained, are worth fighting for. The old Casa Martinez building still stands proudly downtown, now showcasing beautiful artwork instead of bustling dining tables. But the true Casa Martinez, the very soul of it, lives on in Mama Martinez's kitchen. Every dish we serve carries the story of a family that refused to be defeated, a legacy that couldn't be stolen, and the sweet taste of justice served piping hot. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but in our case it was served at precisely 165 degrees, the exact temperature for my grandmother's perfect enchiladas. And it was a dish savored slowly, with every delicious bite a reminder of our resilience and the enduring power of family. The transformation of the old building into an art gallery felt symbolic, a testament to the enduring nature of creativity and expression, even in the face of adversity. It serves as a poignant reminder that while physical spaces can change, the essence of what they represent can transcend bricks and mortar. The spirit of Casa Martinez, the heart of our family's culinary tradition, was not confined to a single location. It was, and is, something much deeper, woven into the very fabric of our family history. The student, after hearing our story, seemed to grasp the significance of the struggle. She understood that sometimes the most important battles are fought not for material possessions, but for the intangible treasures that define us, our heritage, our values, and the unwavering bonds of family. These are the legacies that truly matter, the ones worth safeguarding with every ounce of strength and determination we possess. And in our case, that fight led not only to the preservation of our family's culinary legacy, but also to its rebirth and expansion, proving that even in the face of profound loss and calculated betrayal, hope and resilience can prevail. The success of Mama Martinez's kitchen is a testament not only to the enduring appeal of my grandmother's recipes, but also to the unwavering loyalty of our customers and the dedication of our staff, who stood by us through thick and thin. It's a testament to the strength of community and the power of shared traditions, proving that sometimes the greatest victories are the ones that bring people together. And in the end, that's a legacy worth more than any restaurant building or any amount of money.